Okay.
Hmm.
So I want to backtrack a little bit, right? So you said you started dancing.
Right.
How did you get there? Like, what led you to that? Was this during college?
Yep.
Okay.
So I have my homegirls.
Okay.
They were in college with me, and they would be like, and my one girl, she had a kid. So we were already like, it was like my second or third year, I think. And she was like, oh, we're going to. They were waitressing,
Okay.
so I babysat the kid. So one day the kid got sick. The kid had like I didn't have any kids back then. So the little girl, she had like a high fever. So I'm calling the place that they said she worked at, and I'm like, Porky's? That don't sound like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I'm looking for so and so. And they were like, and it was so they didn't tell me that they were going to dance.
Mm.
So then when I knew, then they were like, yo, B, you should go. Like you'll make a lot of money. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I was shy. I didn't want to go. And then, that one day I just went. I went, and we found a whole nother babysitter for the kid.
Yeah.
And yeah, I went and I was in there, and I made a lot of money that first day. That's all it takes. And I was like, oh, I could do that. So,
Mm.
mm-hmm.
So that's tough right there, cause like, all right, so I see in that lifestyle, of course, the money's coming in fast,
Right,
and sometimes it can get difficult to kind of stray away from that, right?
right,
So I know you said you started the Bell Bondsman after the clubs kind of like
right.
shut down after COVID, right?
Yeah.
So what was that process for you as far as like COVID wise? Like, what was that for you? COVID.
Well, first of all, let me tell you something. Like when I started dancing, like it was a long time ago,
Mm.
and it wasn't like everybody was a dancer back then. It's not like today.
Yeah.
Everyone, girls are like 16. They're like, I can't wait till. Well, they just raised the age to 21, by the way.
Yeah.
But which I think is like crazy. I mean, everybody should be able to. I'm more like of a person. I think like everybody should be able to. You're 18. You should be
Mm.
able to drink and do what you want.
Do
You
what you
can
want to
drive,
do.
right? You can vote. So, but anyways, that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I started dancing in an era where it wasn't like everybody was trying to be a stripper. It was kind
Mm.
of like a hush hush thing. So the ones that were doing it, like we were making a lot of money, and it was like a different situation. We were making a lot of money. Like now, in my last maybe like I stopped dancing 2 years ago.
Okay.
So in my last 5 years before that, I probably made a third of the money that I made maybe the 5 or 10 years before. Back then,
Mm.
if we didn't make 3,500 to 5,000 a night, it wasn't a good night.
Yeah.
These last 3 years, or before it was like 1,000 a night was your goal. It's like the goal diminished because
Mm.
it's just everybody started coming over here. It was so many. It's like so everyone's
It's crowded.
Instagram, everyone's twerking, everyone's
Yeah.
doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's cool, but I'm just saying when I started, it was it was very hush hush. Nobody talked about it. Nobody really wanted to be a dancer. You didn't tell your family. It was kind of like frowned upon.
Yeah.
Now everybody's like,
Follow
it's like
me. I'm at the
glorified,
club. Yeah. Come tip
Right,
me.
right,
Yeah.
right. So that's how I really got into it. In the beginning, of course, you're like, oh yeah, this is cool. I can go to a club and make money and meet guys and party all at the same time. Oh,
Mm.
this is the dream job. So you start, you have a few years where you're like, I can go to Louis and buy purses every day. So you're like doing whatever.
Mm.
Everyone does that. I
Yeah.
did it too. But then comes the time when you're like, okay, you buckle down. So the dancer that really makes it is the one that treats it like a business. It's like a
Mm.
9 to 5. You set a schedule, you take it serious. You're there to make money in the time. You're not there to party, you're not there to get drunk, you're not there to meet people. You're not meeting guys. You're not this it's not that's not it's a business. This
Yeah.
is your job. I used to tell people that used to come see me at the club, like say if my friends came and saw me at the club,
Mhm.
I'd be like, I'm not hanging out with you here. I got 6, 7 hours. Like, I don't hang out with you at your job at the bank.
Yeah. I
People
gotta
like
make the
don't
most money.
understand that. They feel like,
Mm.
oh, that's just, and so if you take it serious, you can make a lot of money. So, and that's what I did. That's how I bought my strip club because I saved a lot of money. And then in 2012,
Mm.
I bought a club,
What was the name of the club?
Living Dolls.
Okay. Shout out to Living Dolls.
It was in the
Okay.
Keys. But yeah, I had that for a few years. And then, every business has a lifespan. And unfortunately, me being not me fighting so hard to get that club, I didn't really focus on learning how to run it before I got it. I just wanted a club. And then I
Mm.
remember the first day I got it, I walked in there and I was like, I sat down and I fought so hard with the lawyers to get it. All the lights were off and I said, what do I do now?
Mm.
So now I had to hire people. I ended up hiring all my friends and everybody I knew. Worst mistake ever. So you learn, you know?
Yeah.
So every business has a lifespan. But going back to COVID, like I did real good doing bonds with COVID because you know what? Okay, so this is what we did.